Russell Brunson, everyone knows him, okay, the creator of ClickFunnels.
Welcome to the stage with two Economical X Awards, Mr. Shakir Zain.
Traffic Secrets, and I'm sure you've probably heard or seen some of his books. I have all of this on my desk or on my, yeah, there you go, the trilogy set. So I've been following Russell for a number now, Russell. Just before this call, I was telling you, you have impacted my business and my life a great deal from the days I was in MLM. Oh my gosh, from those Empower days. Wow. Just realized that's a long time ago. So I'm excited. I just opened up so many different thoughts in my head now. But Russell has helped me so much in my business, and obviously most people know him through ClickFunnels. I first came across him through a program called Micro Continuity. Was it called Micro Continuity? Yeah.
It's been a long time. Yes, yes.
How many years ago was that?
That was probably about 10 years ago. About 10 years ago.
Wow. So I think I came across you from there, and I was just starting out. So yeah, that was 10 years ago. I was just starting, and I remember like seeing that product of, well, this guy's giving away something for free, and I don't have much money, so I'll get this MP3 and he had this guy called Vince James, 100 million something in 12 months, the 12-month millionaire or something. So I remember that was my introduction to the Russell Brunson world, and then I joined your Inner Circle program. That was a lot of fun because I couldn't even go to the event, but I always tell people that was the best $25,000 I spent, and the reason is because when I was on the call, I remember I was writing this book, Backpack Millionaire, and I was listening to my team members, and they had said to me that it's time for you now to get yourself on New York Times bestseller. And it was $400,000, and I had that money saved away, stashed away, long time ago. And so I had a call with Russell, and he says to me, "Why do you want to become a New York Times bestseller?" Saying, "Oh, I want to help more people." And he said, "No, you don't. You just want to impress your friends and family." And I was like, yeah, "How does he know?" And he said, "If I was you, I'd put that money away." And I'm thinking to myself, I've got it saved into marketing or something else, but don't try and do it because you've had experience in that, and you said, the algorithm doesn't work, so don't try this New York Times bestseller thing. And I remember like putting the phone down and telling my team, "Guys, that was the best $25,000 I ever spent, because I literally saved like nearly $400,000 cash, like instantly." So that's how I really became a fan of your work after that, and I was, yeah. And so I think about a few months ago when I was at Funnel Hacking Live, that's the first time I actually met you in person. I got 2 8-figure awards, which is really cool. And so Russell, I'm excited. Thank you so much for taking the time out to do this. We're going to have a lot of fun.
This is fun, and it's fun for a decade, but it's the first time we really talked or met like a month ago, 2 months ago, whatever that was. Excited to be on here. Thank you for sharing my message with your people. I really appreciate it.
Awesome. So guys, on Instagram, we're going live on Facebook as well, and this is going to go out to my email list and my podcast. So Russell is saying hello, everyone. All right. So first thing first, Russell, you have just released this book, Traffic. There you go. What's the main reason? Tell us. I mean, there's so many different ways of traffic, but why was there a need to come up with this book?
Yeah, so it's been fun over the last 5.5 years that I've only launched ClickFunnels. We have a chance to see a lot of businesses, and about 2 years ago, I started asking all of our entrepreneurs, "How are you driving traffic?" And everyone's like, "Facebook ads." I'm like, "How are you driving traffic?" "Facebook ads." "How are you driving?" Everyone's like, "Facebook." Like that was like the foundation of everybody's business was based on. And I'm like, do you do anything else? Like, oh, I'm doing a little Instagram or a little here, but like that was it. And you've been around as long as I have. Like we've been doing this for a long time. Like I remember when I first got started in this business doing Google ads. Like that was the number one thing. And there were people making insane amounts of money. And overnight, my very first ever Google slap. And I remember watching the majority of my friends, some of them making hundreds, their business literally overnight died. And most of those people never recovered. They never got back into business. And I remember living through that. And then the next was like the SEO wars, where and everyone was ranking stuff and then like making a bunch of money. And then the Google came, and then the next one. And like I've been here for I think this year in this business now, and I've seen like the ups and the downs. And it's been interesting. People in the last 5 or 6 years that have gotten online, all they know is their entire business is built off Facebook ads. And if Facebook ads shift or change, disappear overnight. And I really feel like for me, this was like, I have a chance to talk to, but just everyone, like, we have to learn how to look at traffic differently because things are going to change. And we're seeing right now, like, the economy is shifting and changing. And us to understand, like, we're just, like, how do you actually get traffic? I was lucky enough, like, when I learned traffic initially, it wasn't from me buying a Facebook ads course. I was learning from guys like Dan Kennedy and Bill Glazer, and like, that's how we learn how to do traffic, and it's different. And I think, you know, a lot of people ask me, Russell, how was yours during the multiple recessions and all the different problems? And it's like, because I looked at traffic differently. For the last 2 years, that's this book has been, my focus is like, how do I write this book? The introduction says there's a storm coming. Like, how do I help them? Because the storm's shifting. If you're not prepared now, you're going to lose your business. And a lot of people ask me, we're in the middle of this craziness. I was like, well, first off, I didn't plan to launch this book. This is like the perfect time because the way you make your business stable is it's like a life preserver. Your customers can't attract the customers to you, the right customers. Like your business is really going to struggle right now. And so that's preserve people to help them get the right customers to them. So that's kind of why I feel like Traffic Secrets is time right now, is because it's what everyone's needs to master during this time of such uncertainty in the market.
Easy because I actually got into marketing, and one of the first guys that I met was your friend Dagan Smith. Okay, good old Dagan taught me. He was one of the guys who taught me how to do solo ads, and I came into this industry right smack bang in when the Google slap happened. Right, so I came in and I saw all these guys making like $100,000 a month and $50,000 a week, and I was like, wow, like this is the most money I've ever seen in my life. And then like overnight, all of them get shut down. And I remember when they were getting shut down, you probably remember back in the ClickBank days where people could just say anything and make a bunch of sales. Most of those guys were wiped out. Like literally there's probably like 5 people that I know that transitioned and now they have real businesses. But back then I was looking at all of this, I'm like, wow, these guys were like these gurus and they just got wiped out. And I learned how to do solo ads back then. And you know, the term has changed, email me, so many other different things. But I learned that one strategy, and even till today, this is 10 years on, I'm still doing solo ads. I'm still buying email traffic. Now it's just changed where I'm not buying the same traffic as everyone else, but I'm developing and building relationships with people that have huge lists, and I'm just putting my offers on the back end. I did ago when I made my first 7 figures, and I over again. So when I was reading, I was almost like, this is what I do, integration marketing. Why is he talking about this? And then why is he package this up in a book? Okay, and you can actually get the copy on freetrafficsecretsbook.com. I even got that domain, freetrafficsecretsbook.com. You can pick up a copy, it's free, just cover shipping and handling. I literally going through my mind was, Russell, this is like some of the most valuable stuff when it comes to Dream 100. I already like started making a bunch of notes and scribbles. My question to you is, when you created this book, and you know, you talk about this concept called Dream 100. Can you expand on that? This is something that everyone should be doing. I saw a video that you had made on your Instagram saying that you spent 4 hours sending an individual message to your dream. And I was like, I got one of those messages. Or someone else. It was you doing it. So kind of talk about the Dream 100 concept and why it's so important and why today than ever before.
Yeah. So Dream 100 is a concept from a guy named Chet Holmes. He applied it way differently, but he taught it to me, this concept. And basically, the concept to market to 1 million people, right, or 100,000 people, like a lot of us do. It's like, who are the people, right? And so you start looking at it and say, okay, who are my dream customers, right? I look at Tony Robbins has listened to my dream. I start making a list. What podcasts do my dream customers listen to? And in fact, I think if I can find it real quick inside the book for people to fill out. Here's here on page 41. You guys in the book on page 41. On the chart right here, and basically says, okay, Facebook, who are 10 or 20 or 30 people in Facebook who already have a Facebook page with 10,000 or 50,000 or 100,000 people, right? Page, it's the next column, Instagram. How many Instagram influencers do you know already have your dream customers, right? And you list out those. Then which podcast bloggers and things like that, which YouTube channels, and so you figure that out. And now it's like, instead of having to go and market to the entire internet, which is huge, it's like, let's say I pick 10 people on each platform, 10 Facebook people, 10 podcasters, 10 YouTubers. Now I have 100 people that I need to market to. And if I get one of those, that opens me up to 100,000 customers, right? Like I message you on Instagram, like, hey, do you want to do an interview or something? And I don't know if you share, but how big is your list, your followers?
On my email list is like more than 150,000, and then on Instagram it's like nearly 50,000.
Yeah, so I got you to say yes.
Yeah.
Right. So I marketed to you, and you said yes, and now you're doing on Insta stories. You're going to email your list. So all of a sudden, that one yes becomes 100 or 1,000 or who knows how many copies of the book, of the product. And so that's the dream. I'm trying to figure out all the stuff on Facebook, ad targeting, and all these things. And we talk about that stuff in the book. There's a time and a place for that. But initially, the first step already has my dream customers. Let me make a list of those people, and I want to market and friendships with them. Me and you have been going back and forth for 10 years now. I know you. I've been trying to buy salesfunnels.com from you for at least 4 years or 5 years, begging you, and you keep telling me no. But we have a relationship, and so when I message you, and I'm like, hey, I have a new book coming out. You help me promote it. You said, yeah. And so for everyone, you got to start thinking about that. For whatever product or service you're selling, who are the people that already have your dream customers? You don't have to go and find all these new customers. You just find the people who already have those customers and build a relationship with them. That opens up these huge doors. And a lot of times, I tell people I didn't buy any ads. I didn't buy any ads for the first, over 10 years of my business before I bought my very first ad. Prior to that, all I did is I found people who already had my dream customers, and I got to know them. I became friends with them, and I'd have them promote my products. And that's how we got so much traffic initially in the first decade of my business. Yeah. Whereas I see a lot of people like, Russell, I'm broke. I can't buy Facebook ads. Like, then don't buy Facebook. There's other ways to get traffic for free. You just got to put in the time and the effort into it.
Yeah, just like a straight, quick thing that I'm thinking, when you got the perfect family and you're just so awesome, but what if they don't have that confidence, charisma, capabilities, competence? What's that first starting point? Like, what do you say to someone that in their mental mind they're scared of rejection, they're scared of that's a guru? Or I know you shared Prince EA on. Oh my gosh, even like a fanboy, and that gave that. No, but that I'm sure it gave me. I'm sure it gave thousands of people an lift. Like, hey, it's okay. Like even Russell feels like a fanboy. So, what do you say to? I don't know what to say. How to say
it. Yeah, well, I think one people. A lot of times, when you start making your Dream 100 list, you're gonna be like, okay, I want Tony Robbins. I want Bill, the top tier people right out of the gate. Oh, did I lose you?
Just putting my charger on.
Oh, okay, cool. So they want you to talk to your names. It's like, I don't know, like those people are so high tier. How do I even get to them? And I think back, like when I got started 16, 17 years ago in this business, I remember I sent messages to all of the big gurus, and none of them responded back to me. I was like, it doesn't actually work. But then went back, I looked at who are the people like one tier above me, right? And I remember the time there were a bunch of guys. Phil Same was one, and Gary Ambrose and Joel Comm, and I had all these people who were like, they were a little bit above where I was at now, but they weren't like Robbins or whoever, like these people that are way far out of reach. They were just a little bit above me. And so it wasn't, I reached out to a bunch of them. I remember the very first person that responded back was a guy named Mike Philsame. A lot of you guys may know Mike. And but he was probably, I don't know, 6 months ahead of me. And he had his first product, he was making some sales, and he was like, hey Russell, promote it. I remember he promoted it to his little customer list that he had, and we made like 17 sales. 17 sales was like, it was insane. It was like the biggest thing in the world. I think I got like 200 people from his promotion, and now I had 200 people on my list I never had before. So then when somebody else, I'm like, hey, you got like 500 people on my list. I'm like, I got 200. How about this? You promote me, I'll promote you. And they said yes, and then we did my list a little bigger. And then I slowly, incrementally started climbing up this ladder by doing that process, you know. And I think that's, you know, maybe 6 months to a year ahead of you where you're at, that aren't as intimidating as like maybe the biggest gurus in your industry, but find those people and start building relationships. Start with like I don't start by trying to ask them like, hey, promote my thing. I try to start like, how can I help these people out? You know, I reached out to him. I said, can I pay you to do a video for me? And he's like, sure, I love money. You know, and I started met Tony Robbins. I was just like, hey, can I help you? Like, what can I do to help serve you? Can I build a funnel for you? Can I? And so it starts with like coming from a place of trying to help people, and that's not so scary. It's easy to be like, hey, how can I help? Like, I have an idea for how I can help you, and I want to make sure not like going to someone and saying, how can I help you? Because that doesn't help very much. It's going to them and saying, look, I see what you're doing over here. I'm really going to do this for you for free. Let me open up a door, and that's how we start opening these relationships. Then huge deals, over the course of time.
Yeah, just on a very technical question, just to clarify, when you say that you go to them and you say, hey, I'm so good at this, can I help you? What is it that you're so good at? Obviously, I know, but I'm just playing devil's advocate here. So what is it when you go and say, hey, I'm so good at it? Like, what is that? And so what do you recommend? Is it funnel building, copywriting, making videos? What is that, specific high income skills, maybe 3 to 5 things, or even one thing that you'd recommend to people?
For me, it's my skill set's building funnels. Like when I first launched ClickFunnels, guess who I went to? I went to Tony Robbins to build a funnel. I went to Dave Asprey to build a funnel. I went to Neil Strauss to build a funnel. Like I was flying around the country on my dime, building funnels for people for free, just because I was like, I need some people in our industry, in other industries using funnels to make it cool. For everyone else, like I think it's looking at all the parts of the process. Some of you guys, like if you love video stuff, like that's how D-Rock got the deal with Gary Vee. Like D-Rock went and was a really good video guy, made some videos for Gary for free, gave it to him, and he was like, these are awesome. And then boom, relationship, and now he's D-Rock, right? I think that it's looking at all the parts. Like some people are good at traffic. Like any of the skill sets from these books, like read the traffic best in the world at chapter 13, right, or chapter 22. Like that's gonna be my thing. I'm gonna learn how to get traffic from integration marketing. I'm gonna learn how to do Facebook ads. I'm gonna learn how to become good at Instagram, or I'm gonna be good at funnels. I'm gonna be good at storytelling and writing copy or making videos. Like any of the pieces of the sales process, like learn how to become really good at just one of them, and then you can go to somebody and be like, hey, I watched your sales video today. It's pretty good, but as a gift, I want to make you one too. So I made another video. And maybe it's better than the one you have now, and if it wins, you can have it. Somebody, they're gonna go. I met Noah. So this is I think he's 15 now. He's 13 when I met him. 13-year-old kid, and he finds my mess on Voxer. Somehow finds me on Voxer. I don't know how he gets my message. So my name is Noah. I'm a huge fan. I'm like a 13-year-old kid who's right now, and your funnels are pretty cool, but I wanted to make a version I think is better. So here's the funnel. Use it if you want. If you don't want it, don't worry about it. But here's the funnel I built for you. And he literally rebuilt my funnels, and like he's a 13-year-old kid. These are really, really good. And I was like, no, how did, like, you're 13, and we start talking, and then he built other stuff for me, and like he still to this day sends me like little gifts, like, hey, I redid your landing page, check it out, hopefully you like it, feel free to use it, or hey, I built it out, you can give it to your community for free as a share funnel, just feel free to give him as a gift. And a 13-year-old kid. Wow. So you guys like, oh, I'm not talented enough to get through, I'm not good enough. He's a 13-year-old kid who just figured out how can I serve Russell, and then did it with no strings attached. And since then, he's spoken at our events. I talk about him all the time, like, because he opened up that path, the Dream 100. And when I asked him initially, I'm like, how did you even get to know me? He's like, well, you're on my Dream 100 list, so I decided to start. Wow. And I'm like, this is a kid who gets it, who's actually doing it, versus some people who I can't because of fill in the blank, whatever reason.
Yeah.
So
that's powerful, Russell. Like economic uncertainty and how the whole world is moving right now with this corona thing, whatever's going on in the whole economy. How does this book help, and why is it like, what would you say? There's a lot of chapters, right? Like, when I look at it, I'm like, I can't believe you gave it all in a book. But regardless, you did. And so what would you say is your favorite chapter that would work for the next, say, 3 to 5 or even longer, maybe for the next decade? Like, a business owner needs to focus on, what is it?
Yeah. I think especially now during the crazy economic times, I think a lot of people have a mindset of like, there's no reality is right now people have money because they're not going to they're not going to movies, they're not going to, they're not going out to eat, like they're holding their money. The government right now, at least, is dumping trillions of dollars in, so there's excess cash that's being dumped into our economy. Nobody's spending. So I think the first thing to understand that people are like, oh, nobody's got money, so I shouldn't be marketing. It's like they're looking for the right things. Like, what's the product service you have, right? So figuring that out first off. And the second thing, that, especially for the next, I talk about this a lot in the book. Hey, some people, it scares them. Like, there's a lot of ways you get traffic for free, just like paid ads. Powerful things that anybody can do today is to start publishing something, whether it be a podcast or a YouTube channel or a video. Like, it doesn't matter. Pick one channel that you love and starting your show and start publishing consistently, because now is the time. Like, everyone's got a little more free time on their hands. They're sitting at home. It's like, now is the time to start publishing, and finding your voice. And what you'll find when you first start doing it, you'll be really keep doing it to be able to find your voice and get good. In fact, if I can find it real quick, there's a really quick passage I would love to share if I can. Almost there. Okay, this is on page 114. For those who have your book, when you get your book. This is from my friend Nathan Barry. Nathan actually owns ConvertKid.com, which is a competitor of mine, but I still love him. Anyway, this is what he said. He wrote a blog post, and it's called "Endure Long Enough to Get Noticed." And he said, "How many great TV shows have you discovered in season 3 or later?" He said, "I started watching Game of Thrones after it released 5 seasons. Pat Flynn had released 100 episodes of his podcast before I even knew he existed. I discovered hardcore history years after Dan Carlin started producing it. This is such a common experience. There's so much content being produced that we can't possibly discover it all. So instead, we have the best content to float to the surface after time. If step 1 in building an audience is to create great content, step 2 is to endure long enough to get noticed. Seth Godin is very generous with his time and will appear on almost any relevant podcast, but you have to have recorded at least 100 episodes first. And so I think that's the biggest thing right now is that scary. Like, now is the time for all of us to start publishing. When I podcast, it's called the Marketing Your Car. During right when my business crashed, it was the crash of. It started 2008, but it was like 2010 or 11 when my company collapsed. I laid off employees in a day. We got kicked out of our office space, had a downsize, like the whole collapsing around me. And in that moment, I was like, I'm going to start a podcast where I start talking about my secrets, which is like the worst possible time to do it, right? But I was like, I need to start publishing. And the first episode was really bad, and the second one was also bad, and the third, and the fourth. And it's funny, Steven Larson actually told me this a couple years ago. He said the first like 45 or 46 episodes of your podcast, and he's like, it was really bad. About 45, 46, you start finding your voice, and it started getting better. And now he's like, they're just like, but he's like, but I didn't know for the first, for a long time they weren't good. And I remember thinking like, man, I'm so glad. At the time, I didn't know how to check numbers. Like I was just publishing because like I needed to do something because I was freaking nervous, like all the fear that was happening. Like I need to just publish something. So I did. I started publishing, and 46 episodes later, I started finding my voice and got better telling my story. And that time is when people started finding me. I would publicly get noticed. And so for you guys right now, I feel like this is the season. Like it's time for you to find your voice and start publishing, start putting your message out there. And it doesn't matter. You pick whichever one's most comfortable to you. Like if you like talking, you can do a podcast. If you do YouTube or Facebook. If you like writing, do a blog. But just picking something and being consistent right now and doing this. I mean, and obviously you do all the Tony Robbins stuff. Tony Robbins, right? Like right now, this is a winter. But after winter, spring always comes. And those who are planting and getting prepared, right? Spring comes, you have 50, 100 episodes in. At that point, when everyone's coming and finding you, you're going to be prepared, you're going to be ready and be able to take them and serve them. And stuff I'd be doing right now during this scary economic time is starting to find your voice, start putting it out there right now.
Yeah, one of the things that I remember learning from you many, many years ago, it was something along the line of where it was like, if you publish every single day, financial prosperity is guaranteed, or something along those lines. And I just remember like thinking, like just keep publishing no matter how many, like I don't care if, and I've taken that really to heart because you just said just that. I think I've got 92 podcast episodes. I have no idea if one or 100 people or 1,000. And I said to myself, like, I'm going to get to 150 episodes just like without checking any stats. So I have no idea. By the way, please subscribe to the Shaki Hussein Show on my podcast. It's just me rambling on. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, this is really good practice because this is me finding my voice. Even after doing this for 10 years, I'm like, I'm still trying to figure out what is my voice, what is that unique angle, and I'm still publishing. So that is really cool for you to share. Russell, I have just a few more minutes, yeah? In terms of ClickFunnels, 0 to 100 million a year, recurring, what is the next stage of that? And, this is a personal gain question, but the traffic secrets that you use to go from 0 to 100 million a year, is that the same thing that you're going to do? Like, what's going to change in your strategy to get to that next level?
Great question. And for you and any of your listeners, like a really good book. It's kind of a hard book to read, and there's a Cliff Notes version, which is way better. But the book called Crossing the Chasm. And if you look at the different phases of a business, like I feel like ClickFunnels, we dominate the first phase, dominate the second phase, and right now we're in the chasm where it's like we have to cross it to go from 100 million to a billion. Like we have to cross this chasm. And the biggest thing you're crossing the chasm is like you're going to like customers that are less sophisticated initially, people that have to that aren't, that's the chasm gap. And I think for me, it's a 2-step process for us to really cross the chasm and get from 100 million to a billion. Number one is like the being different, right? Like me saying funnels is confusing to like all the mom and pop businesses down the street, right? Traffic secrets is honestly one of my strategies of getting out there, because most businesses understand I need traffic on my website. Like, cool, traffic secrets, and this will then indoctrinate them and help them understand funnels, which then gets them into ClickFunnels. So this is a big part of my strategy from a marketing standpoint to cross the chasm. My plan after we finish this initial book launch with traffic secrets, like this is like my marketing standpoint. So that's number one. I think the funnels as a product to use for if we're going to cross the chasm and get to the masses, to go from 100 million to a billion. You look at the big companies, it's because they've simplified things a lot. I think for all the hardcore marketing, like me and you, who want all the stuff and the bells and the whistles. But as we get to the dentist down the street, the next business, like things like that, like they don't understand all those things. They don't need all those things. They just need a simpler process. And so I think that's. For us, it's kind of a messaging and a product side that both have to shift a little bit to get to the next tier. You go in recurring to a billion in recurring.
Woohoo! I'm excited, bro. So I'm a big fan of ClickFunnels. And when you're ready to buy salesfunnels.com and funnels.com, you know, I've been around for the last 10 years. So next 10 years, I'll figure out how to add more value to you. But definitely on top of my 100. Guys, freetrafficsecretsbook.com. If you're listening to this on the podcast, or if you're to our live events and you come across this video, make sure you go to freetrafficsecretsbook.com. Okay, secretsbook.com. Grab a copy of this. Russell, I'm so excited to keep digging in. Thank you so much for sending me. I've been reading it, and my wife's been like, "Give it to me," and I'm like, "Give it back to me," and I'm taking notes. And it's just this is one of those things where you know, when I started online marketing, there's a book by Dan. This is my Dan Kennedy. There's a book that I bought, and I remember being so broke, so I bought a second-hand copy of this book, The Ultimate Sales Letter. And it was like my first ever book, and I read it from front to back. And this is like one of those legendary marketing books. And I honestly think all of these three, especially the new updated versions, these are going to go down as marketing classics. One of my favorite authors, which thank you so much, by the way, Ryan Holiday. Oh man, Funnel Hacking Live was 100 times worth the money just for Ryan Holiday. He was so crazy to see him. I was like, wow, like marketers actually like this guy. Then I was like, even if they don't, Russell likes him. And I was like, you know, he talks about this concept of perennial seller, and this is definitely a for my book anyway, in my worldview, perennial seller job. Guys, go to freetrafficsecretsbook.com, grab a copy, and thank you so much for your time.
No worries, man. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it, and I hope you guys love the book.